Edwin, thank you very much indeed for
Hi, good afternoon.
joining me. Not many players who achieved what you did on the field decide to get a proper job after they retire. What made you want to go into the business of running a football club?
Yeah, I don't know what got in my mind, because this actually is working. I think the first 21 years of my life being a football player, it's fantastic. You meet, you do the most wonderful things. You have success, you win trophies and admiration, and then you retire at the age of 40. Then you start having a proper job and as a marketing director, and that's really making long hours and focusing on papers and reading stuff and making presentations. So it's for your own development as a human being. It was fantastic, and that was the thing what I liked most, to have another challenge in my life besides the one that I achieved on the pitch.
Yeah. When did you start to think that might be the path for you? Not coaching, not punditry, telling people where they're going wrong, but when was it that you actually thought, I actually want to be a marketing officer, a chief executive?
Yeah, I think my career was quite long. I played until I was 40, so I had a good time, because a lot of times when you have interviews and people ask you, what are you going to do after your career? You're going to be a manager, and I think 80% of the players say, no, I'm not going to get out of football because there's too much pressure. 75% comes back in, and that was for myself also. My last 6 years at United, you were 34 to 40. It's a period that you know how your game is going to develop, and on let's say on pre-season tours, or of course Man United is a very big commercial organization also on the side, sponsorship. So you see what is necessary to make sure that the club can pay those salaries every year, every month. So with pre-season tours, I spoke also. I was not locking myself up in my hotel room, but I was talking to the guys who were coming on tour, sitting in the plane with them, and in that way it triggered myself to find a different way of fulfilling my second part of my life. After retiring.
So you were taking ideas from the Manchester United marketing department. You were thinking about the conversations you perhaps had with David Gill at the time. Was it always on your mind then that actually you were learning while you were having those conversations?
Yeah, I think that's a normal thing you do as a player. Every game you play, every training session you do, every coach you experience. Yeah, you need to take something from him. Every mistake that you make, you learn. I think that the same way like this. When I retired, I did a master in sports management. Of course, I knew a little bit what I want to do, but not a clear picture. And then Ajax came calling, and I think at Ajax the philosophy is always giving young players a chance. With our famous academy, and now in the second phase, Ajax does it also with giving ex-players jobs on the coaching side, but also together with Mark Overmars, I'm in the board of directors. So in that way, it's a great philosophy for the club that all the experience that I achieved over those years, and Mark or Frank de Boer as a coach, or Dennis Burkamp as an assistant coach, Wim Jonk, to have that in the organization. And for myself, I'm a little bit more responsible for the commercial side and the marketing than not so much the football, although that has changed in the last 7-8 weeks.
And now you're ready to become the chief executive at the end of this season, stepping up from marketing director. How do you feel about taking on that challenge? The biggest job in the club, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Of course, before I took this job, I actually went to Manchester. I spoke to David Gill, because I think he's a great human being, great guy, and he together with Ferguson had a tremendous partnership to bring United to the tops of Europe, to the top of the world. He said, be careful, because this job is gonna suck you up. It's really time consuming, and that's absolutely true. And we made a sort of like a project of it. Like in the next 3 years, in 3 years' time, I want to put myself in that position as CEO. But when you learn in the organization, when you see stuff, and so I think I wouldn't say I'm not ready or something. I want to take another year. So we delayed it for another year. So the idea is November 2016 to become the CEO of Ajax. And in the meantime, was 2 months ago, my job changed a little bit. I dropped the merchandise and the media department. I gave that to the new CEO. and focusing also on the football area.
Yeah.
And together with the commercial side of the business, it's quite a handful to do, and it's really looking forward to be responsible. I think as a goalkeeper was also you're not in, of course you're in the limelight, but the main thing is the players. You always need a player to score, and I always like to have to make sure the organization is well, so that everybody could perform the way they need to be. And I want the same philosophy in the company or in the club, in the offices to make success for Ajax.
You obviously knew a lot about what it was like to lift trophies, the joy and the elation around winning titles. Now you're landing big sponsorship deals, you're doing deals in China. I suppose you have to adjust your radar for what counts as success now, do you?
Yeah, okay, but that's way of life. I think when I was 18 and I went to Ajax, you never expect what you're going to be, and you hope that you're going to make your debut, and then you make a debut, then you go, maybe I can play for a national team, and it's every step, every door you open, it's something new, it's success, and I want to experience that again. I want to achieve something similar, what I did on the pitch, also off the pitch, and with my profile, with the people I know, with the connections we can make together, with the philosophy of Ajax, the young players always bringing through. The academy is world renowned. At Ajax we can't really pay 10, 20 million pounds of fee to buy a player, but we can put 11 million euros every year into our academy and making sure that we develop those players and giving them opportunity to play. I think that's one of the big things in England, that their young players don't have the chance to shine. There's enough talent, but does a manager have the balls to play them in the Premier League, or maybe sometimes in the Carling Cup? Those kind of games you get a game, but actually in the Premier League, and that's where young players learn from, and that is the philosophy that Ajax. Last year, 3 guys of 18 made a debut, and 8 months later they're in the national team of the Netherlands. So,
and that's a problem in England there's a problem with players stagnating around the age of 18, and I suppose they just don't get those chances. They can't get those chances, can they? In the big clubs.
Yeah, I think the stakes are so high for managers nowadays, always been. There's always all the papers, they make sure who's going to be first, and I think the Aston Villa manager was a couple of days ago. Yeah. Last year he saved them, and it's a rat race, and it's not easy to put in your faith in youngsters, and I think that's always been the lifeline, the red line from Ajax is always young players coming through, giving them chances, taking chances, and after that, after 3, 4, 5 years, when you brought success to the club, then of course players, they want to move to bigger leagues. I did it myself. I was 28, so on the later stage, that mainly became what I said, the Bosman ruling in '96. Yeah. That changed a lot, and I think nowadays players are a little bit more in a rush to go to bigger teams, bigger clubs, to get challenges, to play against the Tottenhams, the Chelsea, the Uniteds, the Liverpools. And on one part, I can't blame them, as long as they brought us success for the period that they're there. And of course, we are not. The Dutch league is not a very rich league. The TV revenue, for example, the club as Ajax, we get 8.5, 9 million euros in television revenue. And that compared to, let's say, 120 million pounds for the number 20 in the Premier League.
So Bournemouth, for instance.
That's almost like a 30% more than our total budget. So we have to do it in a different way, and we like that philosophy that we have at the club, and that's what we work hard for with everybody.
So how much of a challenge is that, fighting against that wealth of England? And you're talking about tiny budgets really from TV money compared to what Bournemouth might get in the Premier League. How do you possibly fight against that?
Yeah, it's hard, but the same as we sometimes lose from a smaller team in Holland. Let's say in the last 5 years we played Champions League, and we beat the likes of Manchester City 3 years ago twice. We beat United in Europa League. We beat Barcelona in the group stage of the Champions League. But one time is not enough. You have to do it twice or 3 times in a group stage to go to the last 16. And that's a problem for Ajax. That the experience you don't have. The quality is there. Only playing 8, 9 years top European football, you can't replace that with young players every time. So that has become the problem for Holland and a big club like Ajax, who has a big name in I think in the world of football. We won four times the Champions League. I think we're fifth on the all-time list. Only the last one was 20 years ago, exactly in '95, when we had a team with also young players, Edgar Davids, with Clarence Seedorf, Frank Ronald de Boer, Mark Overmars, Canu, Liedmanen, Danny Blind, Frank Rijkaard as experienced players. So those are times that we would try to get back with Ajax.
Can you see a time where you could win again? I mean, it seems a real challenge to be able to do that against the odds, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive challenge, but we have our own philosophy, I think that's a very strong one. I think we recognize all over the world because of this philosophy. We are not a Madrid and Barcelona who plays, pay 50, 60 million pounds or euros for players. That's not going to happen. And we have to do it in a different way. And I think the footballing world is hopefully it's going to change. Financial fair play is a matter of. UEFA and ECA are working to try to get some regulations in, but it's quite hard to have owners of clubs and spending 800-900 billion in 5 years' time.
Could you see a time when Ajax might think about joining a European Super League? There's such a big name still in Europe, maybe even bigger than the Dutch league itself in some ways.
Yeah.
Could you see a time when Ajax might feel tempted to join a Super League in Europe if it was happening?
I think that's an interesting question. I think talks are been going on for 10, 12 years. I think behind the scenes, and myself as on the name of the Netherlands, I'm involved with the ECA, also with the ECA, the European Club Association. I'm in the executive board, so with the likes of Arsenal, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich. So it's great to talk with the high powers of the European football, the powers of the clubs, and see what's important for the clubs to bring that forward to UEFA and to FIFA, although FIFA is a strange word nowadays. But sometimes you speak with Belgium and Denmark, or maybe even Celtic. They're also, when they reach European football, Champions League football, they also have to go to 3 rounds of qualification. It's not easy, and I don't know they maybe want to join England, but it could be an idea, for example, if more European names from the past, for example, and could get a little bit more influence in European football, because I think the tradition clubs there are difficult times now. If you see, for example, Inter Milan or AC Milan, in the last 3 years there was no European football in Milan, and not even Champions League, but not even Europa League. So I think the footballing world is changing, and we hope that as a brand that like Ajax will be, that always be a place for a club like us.
We've talked about the history of Ajax, the great history. Is that an added pressure as you take over as CEO, or do you benefit from the kind of reputation that the club built up during that time?
Yeah, I think that's important for a club to cherish the players who made the club great. And of course, my 6 years at United, you hear all about the history from the club and everything, and they're very proud of the ex-players, and they use them in a correct way. The money nowadays in the contracts they're huge, and even guys who had more titles and played more games, they are. I wouldn't say on benefits, but it's not the way. If you can kick a ball now 20 meters in a straight line, you earn 10,000 pounds a week. So for those guys, it's difficult, and it's great, like a Bobby Charlton and everything, and all those legends to be there. And I think as Ajax, we cherish them also. It's not only we use them in a commercial way. We really put them into our system. The Frank de Boer. Started career at Ajax, went to Barcelona, different clubs. National team played 112 matches for Barcelona, for Holland. Here's our manager, Dennis Bergkamp, assistant manager now. What he did for Arsenal, how he changed Arsenal together, of course, with Arsene Wenger. But those players, they bring so much to the club and to the young players they can look up to. And in that way, we hope to touch those players to try to reach the heights that we reached as a player.
You talk about some of the great Dutch players of the past, yourself included. It's not been a great time for the Dutch national team. I can't let that go without mentioning that. What's gone wrong?
No, what's going wrong with the Dutch football? I think we always been quite open. Also at our training ground, everybody's well, not everybody, but a lot of clubs we welcome with open arms and see how our youth system works. And I think we lost ourselves a little bit in the position game that we have like ball possession, play a little bit more towards the goalkeeper. And yeah, I was quite good with both my feet, so I was used quite a lot. And I think we overdone that a little bit. So we went for a little bit more possession during a game instead of playing a through ball or playing forward. And I think with the mentality in Germany or in France or Spain, but also a country like Iceland, they only have 300,000 or 400,000 people, but you see how many Icelandic players there are, and their mentality is fantastic. So I think also for our young players, it's a fantastic lesson. And I was in a taxi on the way here to this congress, and I missed one tournament. I played 7 tournaments, World Cups and European Championship, but I missed out on one, and that was the World Cup in Japan and South Korea. And we had to play a game here on Lansdowne Road, 2001. And we were with the likes of Patrick Kluivert and Overmars and everybody, the great Dutch players. And we lost here 1-0, and we lost out on the World Cup. And so I think it's just a temporary dip, for example. But it's not easy. There's so many countries. There are so many players coming also from the Baltic countries, from the Scandinavian countries, from Yugoslavia and everything. The level of football is going up. It's not easy anymore to go to Macedonia and win there, and that's where big countries have to learn from also.
I can't let you go without asking you about Manchester United and your compatriot who's the manager there. How do you think he's done as manager at Manchester United, and how do you think the future looks for the club?
Yeah, of course. He came in last year after a difficult period for the club. He invested a lot. And normally Louis van Gaal is somebody who has a look also at the academy. I think he's playing also some young players. I don't think he's been so lucky with the players he had in his first year with Di Maria and for example as an example. And I think the way he likes to play at Ajax, he came in 91. He became the manager. Also, the first year was difficult. I remember in the league where we ended 4th or something, but we had a great run in the Europa League, in the European League, and we won in '92, won the UEFA Cup. Only in the league we finished 4th, and also in September and December there were like white handkerchiefs about this game. But I'm sure with the results that he had with Ajax, with Bayern Munich, with Barcelona. Yeah, I think he's the guy who can Man United bring back to the success that I myself had with the club, and also in the past, and with the gigs as an assistant. The team transformed a lot. I think there are a lot of new players. Yeah. So maybe the backbone of the gigs and the Scholes and the Neville and the Ferdinand. Vidic, myself, Evra. Yeah, you need strong players, and hopefully with Rooney and with Carrick last 2 years, I think. Smalling that coming through, and Jones. Yeah, you need to create a new backbone to bring the success to United.
Edwin, one more. We're running out of time, I'm sorry to say. Can you see a time in the future when more players will follow your lead and go into the running of football clubs? Would that be a good thing? They could take their experience and perhaps give it.
Yeah, I had a lot of. Sometimes you have interviews with newspapers and everything, and they say there's a funny thing in Holland, like everybody goes back into the club. In England, it's more common. You go, you're going to be a TV pundit, or you're going to write columns. And I think it's for myself, it's a fantastic way of helping your club, where you are one of the 2 clubs where really my heart is, to try to bring them new success and bring the stuff what you've seen in other clubs to bring that to them. And of course I can't do it with a great team around me. The same way when you're a player. Yeah, you need a Gary Neville, you need a Ryan Giggs, you need a Ronaldo. If you all have the same players, it's not going to work. So I'm not going to say I got all the things that when you go to university and we start as an account manager and you make your way up. Yeah, I miss a lot of that, but I think with charisma, with thinking logically about certain stuff, surrounding you with good people, it's a great way of having a second career. Although I'm not really sure if my wife really enjoys it, because she honestly thought after my career there will be more time for family and the kids. But actually, this is much more, many more hours than being a football player.
Edwin, that's really fascinating. We could have talked for much longer, but ladies and gentlemen, Edwin van der Sar.
Thank you.